Coming up on Hoge and Jahns, it's our Bears-Giants preview episode. Charlotte Carroll covers the Giants will join us, and you know the drill. We'll get through the over-unders, 3 big questions, make our picks for the game. A lot of injuries to talk about in this one on both sides. It all starts right now on Hoge and Jahns. What's up? Welcome in. Hoge and Jahns back with you on a Friday preview edition. The sun is out. It's a beautiful day.
For now.
And winter is coming by the time this game kicks off on Sunday morning.
It's going to go from 55 to 60 degrees today. Get really windy and rainy. Come game time, it's going to be around, 32, 34 degrees on the lakefront?
Yep. Windy.
It's quite the shift.
The biggest thing will be the wind, I think. Let me get an updated forecast right now, since we're talking about it. I do think this will be a factor. Make sure we go down to the lakefront Sunday at noon. We are looking at, we can't go all the way to noon. All right, we'll do 9 a.m. 35, 19 mile an hour winds. And it's going to be gusting higher than that. Looks like the rain and the snow overnight will be out of the way, though.
Will be gone, but still quite a dramatic decrease in temperature. Yeah, especially with some moisture in the air. You're going to feel that. Luckily for me, I'll be in a press box, nice and warm, but for the players, this will be a factor.
Yeah. Well, for the real diehards that want to come out to the tailgate Sunday morning,
wear a jacket, wear a hat.
Probably a little bit more than that. You might want to bundle up, but we're gonna have a good time. We'll be out there coming out Sunday morning. Also, now's a great time to become a diehard, isn't it, Johnsy?
It is. We have a great deal going on. So if you go to allchgo.com, you can use code JAHNS, JAHNS, for a $36 diehard offer. Unlock premium coverage. Get access to all our events, our great brand new Hoge and Jahns merch. You get discounts to that and plenty more. All our great coverage. There it is. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see all our great merch. Again, that is promo code JAHNS, JAHNS, $36. That's a steal.
And one of the great things you get as a diehard is access to the All-City NFL draft database. And I know it's a little early. Now, usually we're talking about the draft already in early November, so that's refreshing that we don't have to do that anymore, at least not this year. But Fran Duffy is our draft analyst at All-City. He's phenomenal, and he has his database that's already open. So if you're watching college football on Saturdays, you want to know, hey, who's in this game that I need to worry about, for the draft, and it might help the Bears pass rush next year or whatever. The database is amazing. It's intuitive. It's super easy to use. He's got, I think, up to 175 profiles already written out for next spring's draft. And that is, to me, one of my favorite perks of becoming a diehard. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because this morning launched a new podcast, the All NFL Draft podcast that Fran is going to be hosting. And his first guest is somebody you guys know well from this show, Dane Brugler. Fran and Dane together. It's like the draft Avengers coming together. I cannot wait. I haven't listened to it yet. I cannot wait to listen. As soon as we're done doing this, I think I'm going to go listen to that.
And one thing I've learned, it's never really too early for draft conversation, is it?
No.
Is it?
Well, look at the Bears. They still have holes. They still, I'm glad we're not breaking down, prospects.
All needs, yeah. But there's a whole segment of NFL coverage that specializes in the draft for a reason.
Yeah. Yeah, and I love watching college football.
It's an insatiable thing to cover.
So to have the database open on my iPad or my phone or my computer or whatever, watching college football on Saturdays, it's pretty awesome because I can just be like, oh,
who's that guy?
Which one of these teams is going to kill Wisconsin? Oh, Oregon has 900 NFL prospects. Cool. Now it's Washington this weekend. Congrats to Luke Fickell for doing an amazing job to get extended for next year. They announced yesterday. All right. let's get into this game. We have a lot of injuries to talk about off the top. Charlotte Carroll, who covers the Giants for The Athletic, is going to join us. She is a Chicago native, a little bit of a homecoming for her. And we'll bring her into the show here in a little bit. But, Johns, there are like, between the two teams, what is this, like 5, 10, 15?
Oh, I was going to count them. You got it, the whole number here?
Well, just staring at it, I'm going to estimate 35 names on this injury report.
You start talking, and I'll count.
Okay. Well, for the Bears, still not practicing Wednesday or Thursday, Josh Blackwell, TJ Edwards is the big one I think we're watching this week, and Dominique Robinson. Joe Tooney got a rest day. I don't think you have to worry about that one. Kevin Byard moved from not practicing on Wednesday to limited, so trending in the right direction. Roshan Johnson's trending back. DJ Moore, Roma Dunze, they're not 100%, but I think they should be okay. And then a bunch of guys are listed as full, which is good news. Luther Burden, Grady Jarrett, Cole Kmet, Kyle Monangai, Amen Agbangbamiga will be back. In fact, I think they did activate him yesterday before the day.
Correct, they did.
And then DeAndre Swift is also full go. So he should be back this week after missing a game. So really, I don't think it's all the names on this list for the Bears, Johnsy, it's not terrible, but TJ Edwards is the one that is concerning right now as we record this Friday morning.
So 33 total names on the Bears-Giants injury report. 33. So pretty
between
good
the two teams. That's a good guess.
Yes, Giants have more. But yes, TJ Edwards is the one to watch with the hand and hamstring. I'm guessing it's the hamstring again that is more problematic here. It's coming back. Like TJ Edwards is a player. He's a linebacker who will play through a hand injury.
Yeah, linebackers, you just wrap up their hands, cast them up.
Club it up. So I'm guessing it's the hamstring injury that is being problematic right now. But can I just say this about the Bears season? There's been a lot of different nagging injuries that have popped up. Like Kyler Gordon is still out. Jalen Johnson, out for a while. Maybe he comes back later this year. But they have gotten through a lot of these injuries. I don't want to say in impressive fashion, but they're a 5-3 football team. They've gotten through this in a positive fashion.
Yeah, I would say, offensively, it feels like they have the depth to withstand. Cole Kmet goes down. They survive for a week with Colson Loveling, who they drafted in the first round. DeAndre Swift goes down. Kyle Monangai steps in. Does a great job. That's what you want to see. Now, defensively, I think it's been a little bit more struggle getting by, but they have been able to do it. I mean, they are 5-3. And I think, one of the unsung heroes on this team, even though I haven't looked up his PFF grade or anything. I don't know. I wouldn't say his tape looks perfect, but what Nashawn Wright has been able to do for the Bears this season, to step in as somebody who's just like a cast off, didn't know if his career was still going to be going, and to step in and be, consistently out there on the field through all of these injuries to basically all the other cornerbacks, has been pretty remarkable. I think it's an underrated story, even like in the NFL this year.
He has been, think about it, Tyreek Stevenson has been out. Jalen Johnson has been out. Kyler Gordon has been out. He's been healthy, and he's been competitive. Now, like we know when he makes mistakes. He's gotten beat this year. Big plays have been
penalties,
made, bad penalties. But at the same time, he's gotten a couple takeaways. He's been around the ball. He's been more than a capable starter for the Bears this season on a team that's had just a ton of attrition, especially defensively. Not to mention, there's two guys not on this list who are on injured reserve in Shamar Turner and Dayo Odangbo.
Yeah, because there's certainly teams that have had it worse than the Bears, but the bigger injuries are starting to add up a little bit. And obviously you lose Jalen Johnson, who's one of your best players, and really probably your only blue chip defensive player. To lose him for what's essentially been the entire season so far, that's a bad one. So when you can kind of stabilize things and not, bleed out defensively in the secondary, I think Nashawn Wright deserves some credit for what he's been able to do as a backup. And in hindsight, I think all the practice reps he got in camp helped a lot. I mean, he practiced as a starter all at camp.
I know it wasn't Dennis Allen's best defensive day in Cincinnati, but I think he deserves credit for the high turnover rate, the high takeaway rate, and so does Al Harris, the Bears secondary coach. They're doing some impressive things despite the talent deficiencies maybe, and definitely the injury situation. So the coaching matters. If they had lesser coaching and all these injuries, I think we might be talking about the 3-5 Bears instead of the 5-3 Bears.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's learn more about what's going on with the Giants injuries as we bring in today's guest, and she's awesome, Charlotte Carroll. She covers the Giants for The Athletic from Chicago. You can follow her, and you should, on X this weekend at Charlotte, and then Carroll is shortened. So it's CRRLL at Charlotte CRRLL. Make sure you check her out for all the coverage from the Giants side of things throughout the weekend. But we bring her into the show right now to hear her perspective on what's going on with this 2-7 New York Giants team. It is a homecoming game for our next guest, Charlotte Carroll, Beverly native, Whitney Young grad, gets to come home this weekend to cover the Giants at Soldier Field. Thanks for jumping on the show. I think for the first time, Charlotte. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me on. I am so stoked for this game. As soon as I saw it was going to be a thing, I've been counting down, making plans, and trying to have as long of a time in Chicago as I possibly can.
Who has gotten more ticket requests, you or Giants offensive coordinator Mike Kafka, also from the South Side?
I'm going to go with Mike Kafka. My parents are pretty used to, my family's pretty used to that I have no power when it comes to ticket requests.
The question, I don't know, is I'm assuming Kafka can't make it, but I know St. Rita has a big game this weekend too.
Ooh.
Game. So,
Okay.
but I didn't look up what time that was, and I'm sure he has other things to do on Saturday night before the Giants play the
You
Bears.
never know. You never know.
You never know. But let's get into it, Charlotte. The Giants are reeling. There's, been a lot of talk about, really now for more than a season, about coaches on the hot seat and things like that. And you almost forget, Brian Daboll, they made the playoffs his first year. They won a playoff game. And that just seems so long ago. What is the overall state of this Giants team right now as they come to Chicago?
Yeah, downward skid has been feels appropriate. Just the 3 straight losses, and it kind of has all switched since Denver. I mean, you had a team that was coming off this huge win over division rival Philadelphia Thursday night prime time. Rookies light it up. Then they go to Denver, keep it competitive. They're winning, dominating for 3 quarters. Then you have this historic 4th quarter comeback by the Broncos, and it is all downhill from there. The defense, which is supposed to have been such a strong point of this team, has been, it's undoing the last couple of weeks, and they just can't get it right. The one bright spot has been Jackson Dart, though, and that's continued to be the case.
Before we get to Dart, can we talk about Cam Scadaboo a little bit, since he's not going to be in this game? I guess first part of this question, what was he like to cover before the injury? Because I felt like the guy went viral for something every single week. And then, how would you describe the impact of his loss, since his injury?
Yeah, I mean, before, he was a rookie who was full of energy, full of excitement. You'd be, at our press conferences with Daboll, and he'd just be making noises in the background, screaming, coming out on the field for practice. It was a very common occurrence. The headbutting thing with Dart, him and Dart have this great relationship. They come in as rookies. They've really bonded, quarterback, running back. They line up next to each other in the stretch lines ahead of practice. So, they're always together. So it's just this dynamic duo. And we all got to see it on primetime in Nashville when they go, they win, they do the headbutting, and then Cam Scadaboo rips his shirt off in a post-game interview. And you're just like, all right, welcome to the big stage, kid. Really fun. And then, so it's pretty heartbreaking to watch what happens just the 2 weeks later in Philadelphia. And I think you saw the respect from the Philadelphia crowd of what he'd meant to this team. He got a standing ovation, his teammates. You saw just the impact that this had on the roster too. I mean, it was a gruesome injury that's going to be leaving an effect no matter what. But Jackson Dart just looked heartbroken. Even in the locker room post-game, these guys were still kind of just trying to figure out to process what had happened. So it's a huge loss. And just from the run game, the pass game too, he was a huge offensive weapon and playmaker for Dart. He still leads the team in rush yards, even though he's only been out one game. But the disparity is pretty huge. I think he's at, let's see, I wrote it down somewhere around here. Yeah, he had 410 rushing yards, whereas the next running back has 177 rushing yards. And granted, Tyrone Tracy missed some time, but that's not what you want to see. And trying to come back from that when they're already reeling from the loss of Malik Neighbors.
So, yeah, the injuries have hit this team pretty hard at key skill positions. What has Jackson Dart, like, what is he doing well right now when anytime you have a young quarterback, and we do it obviously every week with Caleb Williams, just hyper analyzing what's guys doing well, what he's
every
not.
Snap.
Right. Well, so what is Jackson Dart doing well right now, and what is still a work in progress that's causing some frustration at times?
He is so composed and competitive. I don't think I realized just when he came in, New York is such a different market. Chicago's similar too, of just like the spotlight that comes with being the professional football team in a major city. New York, a huge media market. You never know how these guys are going to handle it. But he's handled each kind of step, each podium appearance, and honestly, his games too, with just like the ease of like, okay, I've been here before, I can do this. It doesn't look like it's phased him. Truly, like the only time it's starting to look like it's phasing him is post game after these losses, which was it, Philadelphia one. You could kind of see a little bit of a crack there of just like this kid hates to lose, and this is the reality of this team that he's on. But he's handled it so well, and he's very competitive and doing all the right things. But in terms of his play, and he's backing that up as well. But where you want to see more is taking less hits. He takes so many hits, and it's kind of scary to watch. And he's just a competitive kid, though. So it's like that balance of, taking hits, not taking hits, especially late game situations, as we just saw with Jaden Daniels.
There felt like a point in the season, tell me if I'm wrong, where it looked like Dart and Scadaboo were going to like save the jobs of Brian Dable and Joe Shane, like at least from the outside here in Chicago, looking in at New York, because you had this excitement, two young players coming into their own. Is that accurate? And do you feel like if Dart continues to play well, that maybe there won't be big changes for the Giants after this season?
Yeah, I don't think that's wrong at all. I mean, Dart has kind of been this ticket for Brian Dable of just like, breaking glass in case of emergency. As soon as he was drafted, they went with Russell Wilson. That didn't work. They made the switch after 3 games. And, Brian Dable was very adamant that this was his choice, that he took responsibility for the decision to, switch to Dart. So this is his guy, and he's going to ride with him no matter what happens. And Dart has, proved him right so far, of just like the way he's played, what he's shown, the kind of comments he's getting across the league, and the respect that he's garnered. And you throw in Scadaboo in that, and you've just got this like kind of insane match made in heaven trio of just competitive guys. So when you lose Scadaboo, that's really hard. And then when the other pieces of this team are not performing, for so long, they've talked about how it's been the quarterback. And when the quarterback is finally doing well, but the rest of the team is struggling, that definitely raises the heat on the hot seat for Brian Dable.
Well, and maybe the hottest of all the seats right now has been Shane Bowen. I mean, just looking up some of the media coverage over the last few days, it was like, are they going to make an in-season move at this point? And obviously Dable came out and, gave him the vote of confidence and everything. But what is ailing the defense the most right now? You just look at it on paper, you're like, man, they got a lot of good guys up front, but they can't seem to stop the run.
Yeah, the run defense, it's been the Achilles heel for multiple seasons now, and that continues to be the case. I mean, San Francisco, Philadelphia, the last 2 games just ran over them, and that's not a good thing coming into a Bears offense that is the number 2 rushing and offense in the league. So it's kind of the best matchup for the Bears, and with the weather, I know, football does, but you have to be excited if you're a Bears fan watching the weather forecast and knowing you might rely on the ground game when it comes to this defense. They have just been so bad in terms of angles and just the tackling, and they just can't seem to get it together. A big part of that too is injuries. Starting cornerback Paulson Adebo, starting safety Javon Holland went out in that Denver game. So, there's a clear correlation of like, when this started to kind of go south a little bit, Luckily for the Giants, Javon Holland's been trending upward. And then Cordell Flott, who's also missed time with a concussion, who's other cornerback opposite Adebo, should be back this weekend. Adebo, I think, will still be out, given what he's been practicing this week or how he's been practicing.
So reading up on this game, looking at the stats and whatnot, like I was shocked to see the lack of production from Abdul Carter. Like, I don't know if that's surprising to you, but to me, like, I know he was the Bears' #1 rated defensive end coming out of the draft this year, but like 9 games, 1 start, there's half sack. Like, what's going on with the prize first-round pick here?
Yeah, I think they have all these guys up front, and then you look at this with Dexter Lawrence too, which caused quite a bit of a stir in New York with Carl Banks's comments. Dexter Lawrence is still being double teamed at the same rate he was last year, very high amount, but his production is down. But when it comes to Abdul Carter, he's actually, I think he's tied with Myles Garrett for 9th most pressures in the league, I think, according to NFL Pro. But again, that only half a sack is not what you want to see. He's getting where he needs to go. He's really quick off the edge. I don't know exactly like where the disconnect is. You talk with coaches and they've said, it's going to come eventually. And they're saying the same thing for Dexter Lawrence. The one guy who it's all been put together for is Brian Burns. He's been a monster, leads the league in sacks with 11 so far. We'll see if it all comes together at one point. There were flashes of it. It just hasn't been the case so far. And, looking at injuries, looking at kind of all the way this is going, we'll see what happens.
Who else from an injury perspective? I saw you had a tweet the other day calling it a CVS receipt of injuries. It is pretty long. Bears have a long list too. I think the Giants is even longer though. Which of these is most concerning? You mentioned Paulson and Debo probably out another game, but I mean, I'm seeing Graham Gano missing 2 straight practice. Is that a thing with the kicker? Because it's supposed to be very windy on Sunday.
Cold.
Oh, the kicking saga that is the New York Giants. Where to even begin? I don't even think I could probably reel it all off, given how much has happened there. We are looking at Graham Gano probably missing Sunday. He said yesterday, he spoke for the first time, that he's going to try to kick today. He's dealing with a herniated disc in his neck. I'm fortunately a little bit younger and haven't had to deal with that, so I'm not quite sure. Like, I haven't been to a doctor and talked to anyone about that, but that doesn't sound good. So that means they're going to turn to Younghoe Koo, and that would be, they didn't go with him initially. They signed him after Gano dealt with another injury earlier this season. So they went to Jude McAtomney. He had a really horrible performance, got benched, and then they are, hopefully Gano is back healthy. He is. But then, kind of the way that the cycle turns, it's back to Gano being injured. And here we are with Koo probably kicking on Sunday, most likely.
Well, we know kicking sagas. We kind of have a little minor one brewing here, right, Adam? A little bit.
Well, maybe. A little bit, but yeah. I mean,
we've covered a kicking competition, though. Have you ever covered a kicking competition where there's like 8 guys
in May? Not even like in August. In May.
It kind of feels like I have, just to the amount of turnover. They never will outright say it's not a competition. So I'm not in May though.
What's it like? Like you grow up in Chicago. This is just like a journalism question. Like, what's it like covering the Giants, knowing the Jets are in town? Like, how does the coverage kind of sort itself out there and eat itself in a sense?
I don't know if I've ever really kind of thought about that when I was thinking about taking the job. The Giants are just such a historic franchise that, it's kind of like, you're in New York, you equate it to Yankees Mets too. And that's always been, when you talk to fans, it's this idea of Yankees Mets, Giants Jets, little brother kind of syndrome. I get that. I grew up on the South Side. I'm a White Sox fan. So I'm well used to that with the Cubs, unfortunately. But it's just 2 really impactful teams in the NFL. The last decade or so, that hasn't been the case record-wise, especially probably longer for the Jets. But it's interesting. I mean, you have diehards on both sides, and it's just, I think I'm used to it growing up in Chicago, just with Cubs, Sox.
You were telling us before the show started that the first NFL game that you covered was the double doink, Bears, Eagles, and the playoffs, huh?
Yeah, no, I used to work at Sports Illustrated, and somehow I convinced them to send me while I was home for the Christmas holiday. I can go help out whatever you need at a Bears game because it was the playoffs. I was just like, sure, why not? Let's see if they do it. Got a credential, had no clue what I was doing. I was like struggling so much, just trying to piece it all together and know what was going on. I was stuck in traffic for like 2 hours. Luckily, I left like enough time. But like I didn't know that you have to like leave at the crack of dawn if you want to get into the Bears parking lot and not be sitting on Lakeshore Drive. So that is a good reminder for now. But it was a really good experience, and definitely didn't expect that when I was pulling up to the stadium. And that's what I love about sports, NFL. Never know what you're going to get on a Sunday.
Yeah, that's drinking from a fire hose right there, right off the top. That type of game where it comes down to the wire and ends like that in the playoffs, no less. All right, so who do you got winning this game on Sunday?
I think I had to give a prediction to our athletic writer Kevin Fishbane, and I think I gave him 24-20 Bears. And no, it's not just because I'm from Chicago. I want to get that clear, very clear. It's just the matchup I think favors the Bears in the run game, and just with injuries, I just can't see this Giants team winning until I see them actually do it again. And given that, you can't count Jackson Dart out. But just the run game favors the Bears so much.
Yeah. Well, and it's right on that spread too. That's 4-point margin is probably a good call because this thing went from 3.5 to 4.5. Yeah. So it's right around that number. Charlotte, enjoy your weekend back home, and hopefully get some extended time here over the weekend. And the bad timing though. The Chicago winter weather is gonna
it's here.
Yeah, it's just the time for me.
It's beautiful right now. The sun's out. It's supposed to be 60 today, and then tomorrow night it's not gonna be. So sorry about that. We have no control over it.
It heard I was coming back to town and was like, all right, how can we make this the most Chicago weekend possible?
Yeah, exactly. Pack your jacket.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Yeah, thanks, Charlotte.
See you, Charlotte.
Bye.
Adam, our friends at Sunnyside Dispensary are here to elevate your football season, just like Ben Johnson is doing for the Chicago Bears. Caleb Williams, too. Sunnyside is your home for judgment-free shopping. They have a crazy selection with over 100 different strands to choose from with easy online ordering and in-store pickup. Wherever you are in Illinois, Sunnyside has a location for you. They have spots as far south as Champaign, as far north as South Beloit. Stop in the store nearest you for expert guidance from their staff. You just have to visit sunnyside.com shop. Do that again. You just have to visit sunnyside.shop for bright buys every day, including 50% off your first 3 online purchases. Enter promo code HICHGO at checkout to qualify. For returning customers, use code CHGO50. Exclusions apply. Sunnyside Dispensary, bright buys every day, only for 21 plus or Illinois medical card holders.
And if you're like most people, you probably can't name all your financial accounts, your 401ks, your properties, investments, all of that stuff. That's why you need Monarch. Feel organized and confident in your finances with Monarch, an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together. One clean interface on your laptop or on your phone. And right now, just for our listeners, Monarch is offering 50% off your first year with code CHGO at monarch.com. My favorite thing about Monarch is budgeting all the different categories. So I got a notification late last week, end of October. Hey, you've gone over your dining budget for the month. Fortunately, there's only a couple days left in the month. So I felt pretty good about that. You don't need to track every dollar. But ignoring your finances entirely can cost you. So lean on Monarch. It's a great product. That's why Wall Street Journal named it the best budgeting app of 2025. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code CHGO at monarch.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarch.com with code CHGO.
Adam, great stuff from Charlotte. I hope she has fun back home here in Chicago. But are you ready?
Always ready.
Are you sure?
Yes.
You don't sound ready.
Well, I mean, I feel like I'm being trapped in this first question, so
you can't cheat and look at it.
It's in the rundown. I always look at the rundown. You know, on this show, people look at the rundown. The other show I do, it's usually just me and Steven. But, you know, on this one, we're prepared, and I did see the question.
All right, you're ready. Okay, then you're ready. Okay.
Yeah.
3 big questions. Adam Hogue, number 1. Who is the better player right now? Darnell Wright or Jalen Carter?
All right. Look, the answer is still Jalen Carter. Everybody settled down here. Now, if you want to make an argument in the last couple of weeks, maybe Darnell Wright's been better. I did not see every snap that Jalen Carter had. I know they had a bye week too. But yeah, look, start to finish through the careers, Jalen Carter has been pretty damn good and does have a Super Bowl ring already. But this is very, very encouraging what Darnell Wright's been doing the last few weeks. He looks, to me, especially in the last few weeks, like he's playing like at an all-pro level. I don't know if he's going to get that, but when you start to put on highlight reel blocks that go viral across the NFL world, that's how you become an all-pro and get that name recognition. And he's doing it right now with a banged-up elbow with that big brace on it, and it's been very, very impressive.
I just like that the conversation is shifting a bit, like maybe towards this being even. Like if the Bears have a franchise right tackle who now becomes a Pro Bowler and All-Pro, we're like, okay, I'll take it.
Yeah.
No?
No, yeah, I would take it. I think we're also sort of undervaluing what Jalen Carter is.
That's fine. That's
like
fine.
Remember Matty Eberflus would say like the 3 techniques, the engine of the defense. Like he really is the engine of that defense right now for Vic Fangio. And I feel like, when he's out, it's a completely different unit. And now, yeah, maybe we're getting to that point where if they were to not have Darnell Wright, you'd feel the same way. But ideally, we'll be looking back on this and saying both of these picks ended up being very, very good. And for Caleb Williams, it's really good to have a Darnell Wright in front of you. And in the run, I mean, this is a big part of the run. The run game right now, I feel like is really running through Darnell Wright right now. And that's awesome to see.
He is atop various rankings for right tackles. That's extremely promising. Mm-hmm. Ben Johnson has called him a unicorn multiple times now, and he's doing cartwheels after touchdowns. So I think the story is shifting a bit.
Do you think anybody maybe said, hey, cool cartwheel, maybe lay off the cartwheels though?
Yes.
Like maybe like, I don't know. If there was a time to pull it out, that was it for sure. But and also very impressive he did that with the elbow.
Yeah. At first glance, it looked like he favored, like he was all left arm. But when you look at the all-22, he used both arms.
Yeah. Well, a one-handed cartwheel would be even
more impressive.
Yeah. By the way, Steven, who's filling in for Katie today, letting us know that he's 2nd out of 75 in a run blocking grade right now, and 18 out of 75 on pass blocking. So that would be left and right tackles, I assume.
And 6th overall out of that 75.
It's great stuff. It's very, very good. Very encouraging.
All right, number 2. Who has a better day Sunday against the Giants? The Bears secondary or the kickoff team?
So Gunnar Olszewski is their returner. Mm-hmm. He's pretty dangerous. He's been a pretty good returner in this league. I'm gonna say Bears secondary. I don't know what it is. Maybe these are famous last words, but at Jackson Dart, it's a cool story. He doesn't really scare me yet. And the one wide receiver that does kind of scare me about getting if you lose them is Wan'Dale Robinson with his speed. But I'm gonna say the secondary has a better day. I think matchup wise, it's okay.
I believe the Bears entered this week their kickoff team giving up the 3rd most kickoff yardage, return yardage in the NFL.
Yeah.
You just hope that improves a little bit, especially like you don't want to give the Giants any good field position when you seem to have an advantage. Like you said, they don't have 2 superstar receivers and a veteran quarterback like the Bengals have. So the secondary should have the better day.
Well, I mean, you're just putting yourself at a disadvantage when you're. Part of the reason why special teams can be so important is when you, like last week, you lost 2 out of 3 phases. somehow won the game.
Still won.
But I've put this in my prediction that I filed to Pat. Little teaser here for the show. If you don't get this fixed on special teams, you're playing with fire here. You're going to lose one of these games. And I don't mean like one of these games like, yeah, you got the Eagles and the Vikings and the Packers coming up. I mean like one of these games where you're favored to beat a bad Giants team. You're going to screw around and lose one of these games because you can't get your you-know-what figured out on special teams. That's what's scary. So I'm glad Ben Johnson got involved this week, and made it a point. Like this is, we're really hyper-focused on it this week because I think he's recognizing how big of a problem it's becoming.
Number 3. This is just kind of going off 2 storylines this week. Who has more catches on Sunday? Rome Odunze or Colston Loveland?
I'm going to go with Loveland because of the health. I think he's trending in the right direction. I think they're finding ways to start feeding him the ball, run more of the offense through him. That's also very, very encouraging. And while I do think Rome will bounce back, I mentioned this a couple times this week. He just does not look like the same guy running routes as crisp with what now is a heel and ankle. Last week it was just heel. Now it's heel and ankle. And I think it's affecting him. So I'm gonna go with Loveland.
Part of me feels like there's like an overcorrection coming after the 0 catches from Rome Odunze last week. And like what that turns into from Caleb Williams, especially given all the fatherly discussions this past week. But I don't know. Some of that I feel like has to be on Ben Johnson. Like how many play calls does he call where Rome Odunze is the primary, which we know has been successful for the Bears this season. Why he leads the Bears in catches and targets this year. So something to track. I think Rome Odunze, I'm trying to pull up the quote right now, handled the questions about his father's tweeting.
Yeah.
Very, very well.
Yeah, he basically said, look, I love my dad. He's entitled to his opinion. I'm entitled to mine. And it's not really an issue to Rome. Basically saying he doesn't feel the same way. It's just a weird situation. I mean, it's not the first time a parent has gone on Twitter and, complained about, but it's not like Rome. Like Rome's having a good year. It's been maybe not as good few weeks, but this isn't like I don't know. I'm trying to think of a better example going around the league right now.
But this is the first year that I can remember where there's been multiple conversations or multiple stories where a player is asked about what his father is saying. Let's not forget earlier in the year, our friend Patrick Finley asked Caleb Williams, like, does your father speak for you? When we had that Seth Wickersham book or that chapter coming out in American Kings.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a little bit of a different situation because that's been sort of like an ongoing story over really probably going back to high school for Caleb. And it was literally being written about in a book. This is just a dad on Twitter, like firing off a couple weird tweets. And all of Bears Nation jumping on him, including the Bears.
Yes.
With the video they put out. So,
yeah.
All right. Over under time.
Moving on. Yes, moving on. First one.
What else? Go ahead. I'm listening.
From David. Jaquan Brisker impact plays. Pass breakups, interceptions, sacks, third down stops. Set at 2.5.
We'll go under, but 2?
I think he gets an interception this week.
Okay.
I don't know why, but there you go.
It's kind of
bounce back week after what happened. Yeah. Like he was not at his best against the Bengals, but there's a lot of defenders who would struggle against the Cincinnati Bengals defender, their receivers.
Okay. Is we really have somebody who's just going by Chicago sports person?
Yeah.
I like that.
Chicago sports person. Sacks of Jackson Dart set at 1.5.
I'm going to go over on this one. And remember what Charlotte said. He gets hit a lot. They got injuries on their offensive line. Montez Sweat seems to be dialing this up a little bit. And I like Austin Booker. I'm excited to see Austin Booker play more football on Sunday. So I think they both get home in this game, and maybe Stravon Dexter getting through as well. So I'm gonna take the over. I think there might be 3 or 4 sacks in this game.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to go with 2. I think you get one off a blitz, and I think you get one from one of the defensive linemen.
Okay.
Booker feels right. From Caleb to DJ. Over under 1.5 sacks for Brian Burns. I'm really worried he takes advantage of Theo. P.S. Us listeners love the over and under segments. Don't listen to the haters. Thank you, Caleb to DJ.
Yeah.
I think Burns gets one.
Yeah, when I did my whiteboard segment yesterday, I like offensively. I really like the matchup this week. I like a lot of things. The one area that I'm like kind of circling, I'm a little concerned is, if I'm the Giants, whether it's Burns, whether it's Kayvon Thibodeau, whether it's Abdul Carter off the bench, like that's where I'm trying to come through. I'm trying to attack Theo, especially considering what we just talked about with Darnell Wright, who's playing really well on the other side. So I'm going to say under, but I think Burns probably gets 1.
I think this is where we have to praise Caleb Williams a bit. He's done a good job. No, the sack rate is down. He's eluding them. I think the play calling of Ben Johnson helps him, and they're going to give Theo Benedict some help. Yeah. You know they are. So Burns gets home for 1, but that might be the only sack I think the Giants get this week.
You know what? That just reminded me to bring this up because I've forgotten. So remember the play last week where Caleb looked really upset? Like he got sacked. It was a second sack. Yeah. He kind of scrambled around, and then he was like visibly upset. And then he went to the sideline, and like the cameras caught him upset. And Case Keenum was kind of standing in the way. Probably a good thing, sort of blocking the view that they had. So I know there were some questions. Was he mad because a teammate ran a wrong route or something? And then like, should you be that visibly upset if that's the case? Because then you're kind of showing up your teammates. So my understanding, I did some digging on this. My understanding is and it's actually on Caleb, that there was something kind of with the way the play was set up. I don't know if he had it flipped or what, but like pre-snap, it wasn't the way it was supposed to be. And if I remember right, I think maybe the play clock was running down too. So I might not be right on that part. But anyway, long story short, Caleb was just mad at himself on that, which he's allowed to be. But just in case there's, anybody worried that he's like yelling at teammates or anything, I do not believe that was the case.
Cool. Good tidbit.
Yeah. From
Casey. Over under half the number of times mentioning Monangai getting the angry runs. Monangai. I don't know if Fox is going to mention an NFL Network thing. Maybe you get like, there's another angry run. Does that count?
I don't know.
I don't think Greg Olson's going to say that.
Wait, who's on the play-by-play?
Isn't it Greg Olson?
Yeah, well, he's the analyst. Who's doing the play-by-play though? Fox has been. Would that be Adam Amin? Hang on. Well, I'll circle back.
I believe I read that Adam Amin's going to be paired with Drew Brees going forward.
Yes. Actually, Adam is in Germany right now. He's got the Falcons Colts game.
I just looked it up. It's going to be Joe Davis.
Okay, that's right. Joe's usually with. Yeah, so I get confused this time of year because Joe does World Series. Adam steps up and has been doing some games with Greg Olson. They had the game at Lambeau last week. That's why I was thinking it might be him. But Joe's back now that the World Series is over.
Who do you think has more carries? Monangai or Swift?
Swift.
I think it's going to be pretty even because they're going to protect Swift a bit. Where they want to keep him,
maybe.
To go off what Ben Johnson said previously, where they want to make sure he's here for the long run later in the season. Maybe 12 carries each.
The fact that he was full go in practice, though, yesterday has me feel like, the week off did him good. I do think they're going to give Monangai the opportunity, though, to earn more carries. So I'll tell you this. I picked up Kyle Monangai in fantasy, and I'm tempted to still play him. Like, I picked him up a week ago, so I had him already. last week. But even though I don't think he's going to be RB1 this week, I'm still tempted to play him because I think he's still going to get plenty of opportunity.
Okay.
And because my team sucks.
Speaking of angry runs, it's that bad, huh?
No, it's not. I'm like 4-5 or whatever it is.
Oh,
but
you're in the mix. You're in the hunt.
Derrick Henry is not quite Derrick Henry anymore. He's letting me down. So it's like David Montgomery or Kyle Monangai.
Oh, same roles.
It's like, yeah, it's the same.
Yeah.
Ben Johnson RB2 role, essentially.
All right. Speaking of angry runs, this is from our friend Mason. 2.5 head first dives by Jackson Dart. This is a thing, huh?
Yeah. Well, he just plays that way. Something tells me Jackson Dart and Tyson Bagent would get along quite well. Just their energies, the way they play.
The competitiveness that comes out.
Yeah. Sure, I'll take the over. I think he's going to be running around for his life a little bit in this game.
But head first dives? Maybe you get. I'm gonna go under.
Headlong dives.
Headlong dives. I'm thinking he meant head first.
I think
Headlong different.
Headlong. Yeah.
All right, from JW versus the Giants. Over under Ben Johnson offensive trick plays called 2.5.
I'm gonna go under. Maybe they got to dial it back after what they did last week, but there might be one in there still.
Yeah, you might get one. I just felt like Ben Johnson said it himself. They saw something in, the eyes of the young players on the Bengals defense where they wanted to mess with the eyes a little bit, where these trick plays came about. Like they were literally creating them last week. These weren't, they haven't been practiced since training camp. They literally installed Baby Daddy last week, right?
Baby Daddy, the personnel 11 bag.
There you go.
That's what Tyson said when he was on CHGO earlier this week. He got the install, and he saw 11 bag. Because it means 11 personnel, but you're replacing, I don't remember who came off field. Would have been Olamide? Whichever one of the normal wide receivers in 11 personnel, you're subbing him out for Bagent is what that means. So when they call out 11 bag, you're going in the game.
Bag, short for Bagent.
Yeah. And the other interesting nugget on that, too, you're not allowed to have 2 quarterback helmets on the field.
Ooh.
So you have to have a backup helmet that does not have, the headset in it.
Tony Medlin's in on the trick.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, this is the stuff that goes into it. Football is just crazy. The stuff you have to think of. So he's got to be ready with a backup helmet. No, at any time that play gets called, he's got to run out there and make sure he has the right helmet on, and also and I don't know how that works with the officials. Do you have to declare yourself?
Maybe they just look for the green dot.
Because my advice as a coach would be just to be safe.
Tell them.
When you come out there, just be like, "Hey, I'm in. I do not have the green dot helmet."
Yeah.
Right. Now, I would think that even if they flag you and they discuss it, they'd be able to check your helmet. But I don't know how that all works. Super interesting, though.
All right, so going off this one, we have this one from Euclid in 53. Over under half receptions for Darnell Wright. So this was inserted because of what Ben Johnson said multiple times this week in different interviews about Darnell Wright being able to catch passes.
Well, it would be amazing, for him not only to talk about it and then actually call play to him in the same week.
This feels like a setup.
And earlier in the year, remember they ran those routes with the offensive lineman and Darnell made that great catch. And the Bears, put it out everywhere. A lot of times they'd be like,
So Ben Johnson, my understanding is that Ben Johnson wanted those out specifically.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Look, all my guys could catch.
But here's Ben also to me has that sort of that crazy confidence that is almost borderline arrogant that he will just openly be like, yeah, we're going to throw the ball to Darnell Wright this week and then do it. I can't rule that out with this guy.
True.
I'll take the under.
And you could see him in the post game going, I told you it was coming.
I'm going to take the under this week, but I'll tell you what, I think at some point this season, Darnell Wright catches a pass.
It's going to happen. I agree with you. All right, last one. This is from Jake. Over under heart attacks this week. Half.
It depends, I guess, who you are. Yeah, there might still be a heart attack in this game or two.
Yeah, like I want to say this game will be less dramatic, but at this point, what do we say, Adam? We should know better.
Oh, we're not doing that this season, although we kind of are.
Well, we're just doing it in a different way.
Yeah.
Like the Saints game. They're up 20, but we should know better. Became a better game after that. So I'm expecting more of the same. More drama, more craziness. This is the Bears season, but they've been on the winning side of all the craziness.
All right, we got to get to our picks and close the show out. But before we do that, a couple more sponsors to thank. Don't go anywhere. We got your predictions for Bears and Giants coming up next. For over a decade, Rhythm has cultivated cannabis that enables your flow state, allowing you to connect with the present moment. Now they're bringing that same obsession to Rhythm beverages with an effects-driven liquid, puts you in control of the dial. Whether you want to turn up the energy or tone down the vibe, there is a Rhythm THC beverage that takes you where you want to be. And you know, we're always looking for something fresh to bring out to the tailgate lot. We will have Rhythm at the CHGO tailgate on Sunday. Rhythm is the #1 premium cannabis brand. At least they just released THC drinks built to fuel your game day flow in a couple different options. Sativa gives you pregame energy, and Kush for the postgame chill. Sativa is a mandarin orange with natural caffeine in there as well. It's great for getting hyped up, starting the party. So head to rhythmdrinks.com. That's RYTHM drinks.com. Use promo code CHGO or scan the QR code for 15% off your first order. Again, that's rhythmdrinks.com, but you can also buy at retailers like Binny's. Scan and sip your way into the flow.
And whether you need snapbacks, truckers, fitteds, beanies, or tees, Brandon Bills has you covered with performance and style, including, look at that sharp Hoge and Jahns hat. Adam has it up there.
Bills logo. Yeah.
Sweet. We got the new one up there too. Get it. It's awesome. They also have a partnership with 40 colleges, including 10 Big Ten schools as a part of their campus collection. It's Ohio State, Minnesota, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, and some more. USC, I think, is in there as well. So head to brandonbills.com and use code BBCHGO for 15% off your first order. That's code BBCHGO for 15% off your first order.
All right, John Z, let's do it. Let's get into the game and our predictions. Fox noon, Giants at Bears. It is now a 4.5-point spread. The Bears favored by 4.5. Few weeks, just for reference, a few weeks ago against the Saints, they were 5.5-point favorites. This was 3.5 for a few days and then moved. Should we do bold prediction? I kind of gave away my bold prediction.
Bold predictions.
Ooh. But I think the Bears, is 3 enough? Sacks? 3 sacks? I feel like that's bold for this pass rush.
That's very bold.
Yeah, I'll take
Very
3
bold.
sacks.
I'm going to go Colston Loveland again as the Bears' leading receiver in catches and touchdowns this week against the Giants.
Wow, that is bold.
Predictions.
Slimed again.
I have the Bears winning 27-21. I think the matchup-wise, the fact that the Giants struggled to stop the run, Bears will have both running backs back. They also play a lot of single high, which the Bears have been feasting on. Caleb Williams has been doing really well against single high coverage. So just from a matchup standpoint, I think this is a good one in the Bears' favor. I do think the defense is going to have their moments though where they give up points. It's just going to kind of have to live with that right now with the injuries, especially if TJ Edwards doesn't go. And I am slightly worried, as I alluded to earlier in the show, that at some point special teams is going to cost them a game like this. But I'm going to go with a slightly comfortable win that maybe going off that over and under from Jake earlier has a heart attack or two still in there somewhere. But ultimately the Bears do cover and they win 27-21.
I got the Bears winning 30-27. to 20. This is what I wrote for All CHGO. The numbers say that this is another favorable game for the Bears offense. The Giants' run defense is worse than the Bengals' defense on a per carry basis. The Giants are allowing 5.5 yards per carry, the most in the league. The Bengals, 5.4. You know that's music to Ben Johnson's ears. He loves to run the ball, and it doesn't matter. Swift, Monangai, the Bears should be able to run against the Giants. Maybe you get a field goal in the last couple minutes to cut the game a little bit closer, but I like the Giants. I like the Bears in this one, kind of pulling away in the fourth quarter because of their run game.
There it is. Couple Bears. Bears wins. We'll see if they can get it done. Go to 6-3. All right, let's knock out the other games around the league.
We are strong where we're strong right now, and we need to improve where we need to improve.
Thanks,
Fox noon up against the Bears game. Minnesota Vikings hosting the suddenly turned around Baltimore Ravens. This spread is almost surprising, but I actually kind of think it's where it should be. The Ravens are favored by 4.5 points on the road.
Do we have to talk about how J.J. McCarthy has an alter ego?
Well, yeah. This came up yesterday with Carmi V on CHGO. What did he say it is? 9?
9.
See, 9 was always my number growing up, too. I never considered it an alter ego. I just considered it my number. Maybe that was my problem. Maybe that was why I was bad.
I mean, it's his number. It's okay. I just think, I've never heard an NFL player, let alone a quarterback, discuss this, because I know players, they lock in to games that they're different on the field than they are off it, and you hear offensive linemen talk about this all the time. Like Luke Kuechly, he's a linebacker, but
yeah,
nicest guy off the field, absolute psycho and menace on the field.
Some would say that's Ben Johnson.
Yeah, nice guy off the field.
He's been great off the field. Press conference has been phenomenal. He's been easy to work with, and then he gets on the field, and I'm scared of him.
He wants to go after.
Even Tyson Bagent, we had a cut the other day that we put out that was like, I'm not messing with him on game day. Hell no.
No.
All right, I'm gonna actually pick the Ravens in this game. I think they've kind of flipped things around. Lamar Jackson looks good. I think it's going to be very similar to the Eagles came to Minnesota a few weeks ago, and they won 28-22. They won by 6. I think that's going to be how this goes, too. A little bit of a correction after the Vikings' big win in Detroit last week.
Yeah. Give me the Ravens by a touchdown or a little bit more.
Nothing's off the table. Nothing is on the table right now.
Fox 325. The Rams are at the 49ers. And the Rams are favored by 4.5.
I noticed this conversation in the algorithm this morning on my feed. Does Mac Jones, is he now the starter for the 49ers? Healthy Brock Purdy or not?
There seems to be a little bit of a QB conundrum, we'll call it. It's not a controversy. Can I give you the 49ers since week 3? Win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win.
So we
give
have
me
loss.
Give me the Rams.
Covering?
You better lock it up. You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
Rams also lost that game to the 49ers earlier this year at home. If you look at the numbers, EPA, offense and defense, the Rams are very quietly have an argument to be the best team in the league right now.
It's a good team.
It's a good team.
It's a good team that nobody's talking about. I'm going to take the Rams, but I think the 49ers. So okay, I'm taking the 49ers and the points, but the Rams win.
Okay. Fox 325 Lions at the reeling Washington Commanders. Lions are an 8.5 point favorite.
That was an ugly injury for Jaden Daniels. And
who apparently is not going on IR.
Okay, fine. Dan Quinn deservedly gets all the criticism that's coming his way right now, I think.
Old team. Jaden Daniels is out. Terry McLaurin's out.
No, in terms of keeping him in that game.
Oh, I see. Yeah. I'm 50-50 on that. I get it. I get the criticism. I can't really defend it. Also kind of a freaky injury where
Well, this is where
your elbow's just not supposed to bend that way.
Well, this is where you're supposed to talk to your quarterback, a quarterback who is known to take hits. Let's avoid all contact if possible, given the score, if we're keeping you in.
Look, that's why I thought the Jaden Daniels talk was so premature. No one was ever doubting how good of a player he is. I loved him as a player. Injury prone. You could see it. You got to stay healthy. So that's got to be part of the evaluation. So I get it. Last year, everybody's excited and all this stuff, and he looks way better than Caleb. But like that's not the end of the road at all. It's 1 year. Same thing happened with C.J. Stroud 2 years ago. All right, I'm taking the Lions here. I just think the Commanders are raw, and the Lions are gonna be mad after losing to the Vikings last week.
Yeah, they're reeling. Or the Commanders are reeling. Give me the Lions in a blowout.
All right.
I didn't hear all of it. I heard a lot about most of it, but what I did hear, I did not hear any of that.
NBC Sunday night, 7:20. Steelers go to LA to play the Chargers. Chargers are 2.5-point favorite, which is interesting. Jahns, I think the fan split in this game, it might be 70% Steelers fans.
Yeah, they travel just as well as Bears fans. But I'm going to take the Chargers in this one. The Steelers are kind of tough to figure out.
Chargers now down both.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah. Steelers have one of the best pass rushes in the league. I don't know. I'm sticking with my prediction. Give me the Chargers in this one, finding a way. Justin Herbert magic over Aaron Rodgers magic.
Sort of a gut feeling here. I'm going to agree with you. I think the Steelers the Colts turned the ball over 6 times last week. I don't think the Chargers are going to do that. Herbert's playing pretty well. It's at home, even though I think the Steelers are going to have more fans there. Big game Sunday night. I will take the Chargers too. I'm fine with that pick.
Show a little voodoo to the quarterback and just get on the edge of a tackle and get a ton of sacks without pressuring.
Monday night, ABC and ESPN, 7:15. That one always gets Johnsy. Eagles at Packers. Good Monday night game. Packers are 2.5-point favorite at home.
It gets me because you forget that the payoff is coming. It's one of the longer clips that you have.
Yes.
You think voodoo is the thing you're supposed to chuckle about, but then here it comes the sex.
The sex. Here comes the sex instead of the sacks. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the Eagles here. I just think they're a better team. I think
the Eagles are going to win.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying?
Yes. I think I think the Eagles win this game, and Packers favored by 2.5. Remember Tucker Kraft out for the season. He has been their offense. I think the Eagles are going to cause some problems for Jordan Love, and you could say, "Oh, they'll bounce back from that bad loss last week." Well, when they lost to the Browns earlier in the season, the Packers, they came back and tied the Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. So I like the Eagles here.
How about some of the conversation up in Green Bay right now about Matt LaFleur being under pressure on the hot seat a little bit?
He's done this, though, man. His teams always play down to the competition. They have these games every season. Now, I'd be careful about moving on from him because he's a good
winning.
coach.
He wins,
Yeah, he wins a lot of games, but I get the frustration at the same time. This is a big game for the Packers. I got to find a way to win it.
Jordan Love, I'm taking the Eagles to win outright. But Jordan Love, like some weeks, he looks like a top 5 quarterback. Other weeks, he's having these wild scramble plays where he's throwing the ball, jump balls up in the end zone, where the only person close to the ball is a Carolina Panthers defensive back who drops it.
He the numbers say he's having an insane year. I think he's like the number 1 EPA quarterback right now. When you watch the games, though, it doesn't feel like that. It's weird. And I really do think they're going to miss Tucker Kraft a lot.
Yeah.
All right. We got to get out of here. Fun show, though, leading into your weekend of football. Should be a fun one. Good luck to everybody playing in the weather Saturday night, including us. Ooh. Yeah, that's when the rain's going to come. It's going to drop into the 30s.
You know what I don't like about that? Like, especially at the high school level, rainy games, windy games like that, they change seasons. Like, it changes the complexion of football games because you're a passing team.
Yeah.
But passing in games like that is immensely difficult. It changes things. It changes the course of like championship runs.
Yeah. Comes with territory, though. I mean, both teams got to play in it.
Yeah.
Now I sound like a coach, but it's true. Both teams got to play in it. I mean, the game's on television.
If you're a triple option team, you love it. There's still some that exist.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we played Ignatius in the prep bowl last year running that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't actually know what channel it's on, but the game's Marshall Harris is calling the game. Carmel's St. Charles North, by the way, for those that don't know what we're talking about. A lot of good games this weekend, though. It's high school playoff season. A lot of good college games. Of course, NFL. Let's cherish these football weekends while we still have them. Because we're halfway through. You know, when this game gets past halftime, we're in the second half of the Bears season. Goes by fast.
We haven't had that bit yet.
What?
How the season's flying by.
No, we haven't done that. Like Mike Francesa.
Every week.
It's already week 2. Can you believe it? It's week 3.
Unbelievable.
All right. Thank you to Steven for pinch hitting early this morning he's not really a morning guy, so he had to get up. Appreciate Charlotte coming on. Good show. If you're brave enough to come out to the tailgate, we'll see you there on Sunday. Otherwise, make sure you're locked in all our coverage. Become a diehard. Use that code JAHNS, JAHNS. Get $36 right now for your whole first year. It's a great deal. I mean, Johnson's coverage alone is worth it, but then you throw in the draft guide, everything else, your free T-shirt you get.
Insider analysis, your power rankings, all our Bulls and Blackhawks coverage, Cubs coverage, it's all there.
Yeah, I mean, you used to have to do a couple things to have it pay for yourself. Now it just pays for itself right away, when you sign up. You get the free shirt, 20% off all the events. There's really no reason not to be a diehard. So we appreciate everybody jumping aboard. We will talk to you Monday morning. Our recap, post-game episode live on YouTube. We'll be live again, 9 a.m. on Monday morning. Come join us. Grab some coffee. Hopefully we're talking about another Chicago Bears victory. We'll see if they are 6-3. We'll talk to you then.
See ya.
We all silly like the mayor.